My biggest gripe with self-improvement and what really inspired me to start this channel is the fact that a lot of self-improvement is like super worldly and very selfish. And as a Christian, we have to set ourselves apart. We have to look at it differently. And frankly, like we cannot be selfish in the way we live our lives. And sometimes I feel like self-improvement really contradicts those two things. And yeah, like I said, like it sparked and inspired me to start this channel because I think a lot of what self-improvement offers can be very beneficial to young men, but can also lead you astray. And so in this video, I want to walk you through the steps of how I look at self-improvement as a Christian and how I think you can change your perspective on that and still be on self-improvement, still better yourself, but still living your life for Christ. So I kind of fell down the rabbit hole of self-improvement when I was a freshman in high school, and my girlfriend at the time had just broken up with me, and I was so heartbroken. I was so upset about it, and it led me to watching like all those, how to get your girlfriend back, how to, make her chase after you, fall back in love with you, all of that stuff. I think like the first self-improvement YouTuber I really watched was like Alpha M at first, which I cannot stand his videos now, but we'll give him props for I don't even know. Anyways, but I like totally found that fell down this rabbit hole, and then my freshman year of high school, that later half, that spring break was when COVID hit, and so then like self improvement I feel like changed a little bit, and yeah, it just really started me on this path. And a couple of years ago, I think it might have been my senior year of high school, maybe like that summer. Anyways, I kind of realized I was like, as a Christian, some of these beliefs, some of these things that self-improvement is teaching me really contradict the faith. And then once I, started to think about starting a YouTube channel and like what I would do and what I would talk about, I started to realize that, self-improvement, you really have to have a biblical lens to look at it to be able to get the good out of it without being led astray by, these guys promoting, frankly, just hedonism a lot of the time. And hedonism and like this weird, like worldly spirituality, which I think is really cringe. Or, some of them are just like straight up, um, what's the word? Muslims, right? Like total heretics. And, it can be off putting. It can make you feel like, oh, I have nothing to gain here, but which I think is true with some people, like Andrew Tate, like he has business ideas, but it's like as a Christian, I'm not going to run an OnlyFans agency or like a webcam site, right? So it's like I don't really know how much of this I want to believe or follow. So that kind of led me to thinking, okay, if I'm going to be on self-improvement, first off, can I even call it self-improvement? I think you still can. But what does it actually look like as a Christian? What should I actually be aiming for? Because as a Christian, making money is still important. Like that's still a good thing to go towards. As a Christian, getting in good strength, like I mean good shape, excuse me, like that's still really important. But like you're not doing it to try and sleep with a bunch of girls. You're not doing it to live a materialistic life. You're doing it to glorify God. And so then the question was like, okay, what does that actually look like? I think the first thing you need to think about is um well, I guess I'll just start with working out and getting in better shape. I think that's super important as a Christian still because first off, we want to be in good shape so we can help other people, right? If the old ladies need help moving out of their house, if the church needs help working on something, if whatever, I could go on forever. But you want to be in good enough shape that you can actually be of assistance and you can actually be that strong man that comes and helps other people instead of like oh, I go help and I move a little bit and then I'm like completely winded, I'm completely gassed, I can't do it, or like, worst case scenario, you're too insecure to go and help uh, do something because you're just so out of shape. I also think too, I don't know where I got this idea from. I don't think I came up with this on my own, but like our bodies, we do not choose our own body. God gives that to us as a gift. And it's our responsibility as a man to take care of our body and to, you know, I don't want to imply like, oh, you need to get in like bodybuilder shape, but it's our responsibility to take care of our body and to, use our body in the way God intended, right? So God didn't intend for us to be lazy and sit around and get fat and be gross. He intends for us to, have a functional body. So I don't want to imply like, oh, you need to get in immaculate shape. But what I want to say is you should be taking care of your body. You should be lifting weights. You should be, building muscle, being able to use your body, right? So that's kind of how I look at the gym self-improvement stuff. Oops. But then like with materialism and like making money, I think that's really important because as a man, we should get to the point where we can take care of our family. I don't know about you, but I want to have a wife who stays at home and takes care of my kids and raises our family. And I want to be the one that's going and working. And as a man, like you have to work really hard to do that. And I think self-improvement's good because it talks about and promotes these ideas of working hard and making money. And instead of being materialistic, instead of just buying cars and looking flashy and all of this stuff, or, moving and like living, moving around the world or something like that, I think instead we should use that money to, have a house, have a wife who can stay at home and not worry about finances. And, we should work hard so we can give opportunities to our children, so we can give to the church, so we can, help other people. Not so much, just do things on our own. That's kind of how I look at it. And I think these are really good ideas, but I would encourage you to, find YouTubers who, like myself, are talking about Christianity with self-improvement. So you're not just being told like, oh, you need to go be a nomad that moves around the world and doesn't live in one place, or, you should go and sleep with a bunch of women, or even the whole idea of like finding the perfect wife. I used to really believe that stuff and kind of fall for it. And I used to think to myself like, oh, I need to find like the perfect woman. She needs to have all these traits. And I still think that's true. I still think there are traits that you should look for in a wife, but the idea of finding a wife who is perfect and like has no flaws or anything like that, I think it's really unrealistic, frankly, especially when these guys promote, you should find this wife, you should, look for this perfect woman, but then in the meantime, you can sleep around. In the meantime, you can be a degenerate. It's kind of like, oh, hold up, bro. I don't really know about all of that. So that's kind of how I have started looking at self-improvement as a Christian. And I think too, the Bible has lots of good ideas when it comes to how a man should live his life, frankly. Yesterday's video, I was talking about reading the Bible and starting Psalms, and it's either in Psalms or Proverbs. I'm blanking right now, but it's like a Psalm 31 wife, if I'm not mistaken. Like that was kind of a meme. But then like the meme is it's like Psalms 31 wife, but then it's like the next part is like, oh, am I a Psalms like 1 through 30 man? And so like the Bible has some really good points about being a man and kind of how to improve yourself and what that should look like. And I also this just came to me. Society really pushes for men to be weak and to kind of be betas, frankly. And self-improvement has really started to push and promote, being a strong man, being independent, all these things. And I think it's really good, but I want you to remember and I want you to keep in mind that as a man, yes, we should be independent and we should be able to stand on our own, but that foundation that we stand on has to be Christ. Because if we don't have this greater, bigger thing that we're standing for in Christ Jesus, we frankly stand for nothing. A lot of these guys, they talk and they say these things and they're good ideas and they're good, philosophies sometimes. Actually, a lot of the time, I think. But then if you kind of listen to a lot of their things, it's like, but why? Like, why would I actually, want to have a wife and why would I raise kids? Like, why is that important if you're not a Christian, in my opinion? Why would I not just sleep around if I'm not a Christian? And so I would encourage you to, again, read your Bible, be in the faith, but also have that spiritual lens that you're looking at self-improvement, so that way, we can become stronger men, we can be men of God, and frankly, so we can take care of our families, we can, lead our countries and things like that. So, a little bit of a rant video, but I think self-improvement is very beneficial as a Christian still, even if it is somewhat worldly sometimes. And I think you can still listen to guys who are on self-improvement and talk about different things, even if they aren't Christians. But what I would encourage you to do is still make sure that you're praying, you're asking God for guidance. And so you can look at someone who maybe has a successful business, but they're not a Christian, and you'd be like, wow, that's good principles, that's good philosophy for business, but then I'm not going to listen to the relationship advice. Wow, that's good dating advice, but I'm going to kind of take out a couple things because that will lead to more worldly dating. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you're trusting in God and you're putting Him first, and He is your foundation. So if you like these style of videos, men's self-improvement with a much more biblical lens, I think you really like the channel, so go ahead and subscribe and join the community. And then leave a comment down below so I can get some more traction on these videos. And I'll see you in the next one, bro.